slow in and slow out. This is a very important principle in showing the weight of an object. You see, heavy objects can't just start and stop suddenly unless they come into contact with a larger and heavier object, but we'll get into that later. To explain this better, try and imagine a bird turning its head. A bird's head is very small and light, and a bird can turn its head instantly. Whereas now imagine an elephant with a huge, massive head trying to turn its head. It's got the heavy trunk. The African elephants have those big ears. It's a lot of mass that it's trying to turn from side to side. So an elephant can't just instantly turn its head. It might be able to turn it quickly, but there will be a lot of anticipation and an ease into that turn. And then after the turn, there's going to be a lot more anticipation and cushion or follow through as the rest of the body compensates and tries to stop and absorb the momentum of that swinging head. So let's understand this on our bouncing ball. If we return to our previous bouncing ball animation and open it up, that's the one where the ball bounces across the screen over 20 frames. Starts on frame 0 on the left of screen, frame 10, it's bouncing in the middle, and frame 20, it's on the right side of the screen. So what we want to do is we want to add 2 frames to the contact position on frame 10. That's the squash pose where the ball's touching the ground, the contact position. So we want to copy that frame to frame 9 and also frame 11. So now we have 3 frames where the ball is touching the ground. Then we want to do the same thing on frame 0, copy frame 0 to frame 1, and then copy frame 20 to 19. So now when that loops, we have 3 frames where it's contacting on both contacts. What this does, as you play your animation back, you'll notice already it gives the ball the feeling of more weight. If we want to emphasize this even more, we could take frame 10, the contact position, the original contact position, and squash the ball down a bit. Then do the same on frame 0 and frame 20. And now what we have is we have the ball contacting, say on frame 9, at full height, then it squashes in on frame 10, and then it stretches back out on frame 11 before it then bounces off. And if you wanted to get really fancy, you could even rotate it so that it's facing the angle of its momentum. So on frame 9, it might be facing the backwards arc. Then, of course, frame 10, it's perfectly vertical as it's squashing. And then on frame 11, it's stretching back out in the direction that it's going to bounce. You can do the same thing on frames 1 and 19. But this is basically showing us how the slow in and slow out is where we express weight. If you don't have proper slow in and slow out, or ease in and ease out as it's called in modern computer animation, if you don't have this, your animation will lack weight and it'll lack realism. So let's practice and try to understand slow in and slow out. I want you to start thinking of yourself as a system, as a whole. Don't try and think of your health separate from your work, and don't think of your diet as separate from your energy. Everything is connected and part of your system. You see, what you eat and how you sleep can affect your health, and your health can affect your work. Because if you're unhealthy, or you don't get enough rest, or you're eating poorly, you won't be able to function at your best at work. And if you're not functioning at your best at work on a regular basis, then eventually you might get passed up for that promotion, you might not make it through that job interview that you want, and you might even get fired. You see, everything is connected. Everything is part of a whole. If you start thinking of everything as part of your system, it's going to help you make better decisions. Realize that the habits you do now, for instance, what you eat, how much you sleep, what time you go to bed, this is going to affect your future, like where you work and how much you earn. So eat right and sleep tight.